Yeah, that's
so
like
normally once you load in, somebody needs to grab the key. We're really bad about this because neither of us actually tend to grab the key. We tend to get the front door and then it's locked and then wonder why it's locked and then one of us has to come back. So the first thing you want to do is grab the key, which she already did grab the key. And actually in your book, if you open your book, you will actually see the key in your book past where it says keys gathered. It's just a list of keys that you could gather on, or that you've gathered on the map.
Oh yeah, so you press it J to open the journal. I guess I should went over the journal. So this is like an intro. You can press this to go to the very end where you put evidence in. This kind of gives you a guide, introducing the ghost, whatever, and then it's about sanity. Then it goes into each possible ghost, then there's keys gathered, and then kind of gives like some tools. It only has 3 for some reason. These are the 6 evidences: EMF 5, spirit box, freezing pictures, fingerprints, ghost orb, and ghost ready books. Oh wait, we didn't describe what the ghost orb looked like. So like on the infrared camera, they look like little fireflies floating past. That is one of the 6 evidences. And fingerprints are an evidence. So yeah. Only certain ghosts will write in the book. So yeah. And your 10 photos.
So
and then
by this time, I really hope it's not a banshee because there's a good chance we'll be hunted as soon as we walk in. Not even because of our sanities. Normally ghosts only hunt when your sanity is low. There are certain ghosts like demons and banshees that don't really care if your sanity's low. They just want you. Demons are extremely territorial, so you walk in their territory. Normally they hunt fairly quickly. Banshees, you walk into the house. As soon as they claim who they want, they tend to hunt very quickly. But ghosts do have this habit of acting like other ghosts. So sometimes you do need more evidence just to make sure.
Yeah. I guess we can go over every single one. Okay. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the spirit is the most basic, generic one. It says they're the most common, even though I didn't get one until I was like level 120. So, they have no real strengths, but they don't like being smudged. So like we mentioned earlier, it'll take 3 minutes to hunt. And also they get super mad and will start throwing stuff angrily and appearing a lot more and just being jerks. They like spirit box, fingerprints, ghost writing. The Wraith is the one that doesn't touch the ground, so it will not leave footprints. They can see through doors. So you need to break.
And walls.
Yeah. No, they can fly through walls. I don't think they can see through walls.
They can see through walls. I've confirmed that a couple of times. I don't know if I was playing with you, but there was one map. I was 3 doors. I went into
You were probably in sight. Like 1 pixel of you might have been in sight of all 3 doors. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. That's not even possible. But yes, they can also, from what I understand, they can see through walls and they can go through walls, which is super annoying. So you sort of want to. It's a type of ghost you don't want on a small map, and you want to be able to run from.
Yeah, you can't loop it around like a table by like playing Ring Around Rosie with it. Like you can do that with certain objects like cars, tables, countertops, like counter islands rather. You can't do that with the Wraith because it'll fly right through. It's fly cheap. So don't do that. They get pissed off, they walk themselves. So they won't leave footprints, but they'll start getting angry and throwing stuff and being jerks if they want to assault. So I think they'll probably hunt that as well. They got fingerprints, freezing temperatures, and spirit box. Phantoms, they don't like having their picture taken. So if they show up, not during a hunt, but if they show up just to say hi, and you take a picture of it and it goes away instantly, it's probably a phantom or just a really bad coincidence, like happened last night.
It does also disappear if you take a picture during a hunt.
Really?
Don't take a picture of a phantom during a hunt.
No. Yeah, I know that they tend to not show up. They tend to be shadows more often during a hunt. I think each ghost shows up at least once every 1 or 2 seconds. I think the phantom only shows up 5 or 6 seconds. So, at least that's what I heard from another YouTuber. Uh, yeah. That's EMF 5, Ghost Orb, Freezing Temperatures. It says summoned by a Ouija board, but you don't need a board to have a phantom. Poltergeist.
I'll take over at Mare, because that's halfway through.
Okay. Yeah, Poltergeist was like my favorite movie as a kid. It's a fun movie. Kind of spooky. But they also, just like in the movie, like throw a lot of crap. So if you happen to have a really ornery ghost, it's probably a poltergeist. They'll move multiple objects at once. They like slam doors and just be giant jerks all the time. They prefer people in the room, so if it's not doing something when you're not in the room, it might also be poltergeist. Spirit box, fingerprints, and ghost orb. Banshee, as she had mentioned earlier, this one only likes to hunt one person at a time until they're dead. Like, I remember she triggered a hunt because it was after her in a farmhouse, and I literally walked through it 5 times, and it didn't even care about me. It just walked past me, and I chased it around the house because it doesn't care about anybody but the person that it is after until it's dead. Then it'll switch targets. They also hunt faster, and they will hunt less if there is a crucifix nearby, and the crucifixes tend to have a large weakness with them. They are EMF level 5, fingerprints, and freezing temperatures. And then Jen is the Jen and a Mare are like opposites. The Jen loves electricity. They travel through the electrical circuits to like teleport to you during hunts, so they can debate you into thinking you have a Revenant on your hands, but it's really just a Jen because they slow down once they actually get within, I think it's 3 to 5 meters of you. Then they start running at normal speed. So they like turning the lights on and turning breakers on. So in order to get it to stop teleporting, you want to turn the breaker off. So if the Gen will teleport only if it's like a certain distance away and it sees you, then it'll teleport to get up to you. That's Spirit Box, Ghost Orb, EMF level 5.
So for the Mare is literally the opposite of Jinn. Mares love the dark. They probably turn off the breaker 98% of the time, like immediately, like right when you walk in. There has been a couple of times where mares have actually turned on the lights, but that's been very rare occasions. But before they hunt, they tend to turn them off and be in the complete dark or trip the breaker. With mares, normally if you eliminate Jinn and you know mare's a possibility, you want to get lights on, just because it has a lower chance to attack, and the evidence for a mare is just spirit box, ghost orbs, and freezing temps. But mares they attack more in the dark. There's nothing really special other than that.
That's really sad.
Revenants.
Oh. I say it's really sad when you have spirit box and ghost orbs because both of those have them, so you don't know whether to turn it off or on, because it could be a hindrance or a boon to each ghost, depending on which one. Okay, you can go.
Yeah. So a revenant it says a revenant is a slow but violent ghost. That's not that's false advertisement. I mean, it is a slow ghost other than when it's hunting, and then if it can't find you, it goes very slow again. So if you hide and it can't see you, then you're pretty much safe, except if you're the unlucky person that hides in the room next to it or in its room. So yeah, they're okay, but you don't want them on maps you can't hide in. Their evidence is EMF 5, fingerprints, and ghost writing. A shade is like a shy ghost. Shades have been weird. Sometimes they're shy, sometimes they're not. It's false advertisement. It will hunt if there's multiple people nearby. But the best thing to figure out a shade is if one person goes in and is in the room and it's like messing with the lights or other lights and everything. It's messing with everything more frequently when there's just one person. Then when there's a bunch, then that's normally a good indicator that's a shade. But at the same time, you never know because shades are questionable. So then we got a demon, which demons, as I mentioned earlier, they don't care what your sanity level is. They will attack you for fun. If you, they're extremely territorial, and if you get in their area, they will hunt fairly often. With demons specifically, if you ask questions on the Ouija board and you can answer, your sanity normally won't lower very much or at all. It normally doesn't lower at all. So that's a good telltale sign that it's a demon. And Ouija boards show up about every 3 maps. You don't get them; they're not promised on every map. The evidence for that is the spirit box, ghost writing, and the freezing temps. So next, our personal favorite ghost, a Yuri. So Yuris, they're all about revenge, which I always found funny. But they drastically drop your sanity all the time. I believe it's 14% if you don't have a candle and are alone.
Correct.
And just everything that it does, your sanity drops slower, faster. Smudging, Yuris also like to wander around, so normally it's harder to pinpoint the room, because they will follow you for fun. And so you'll get freezing temperatures everywhere, and it's pretty difficult. So the best thing to do is try to smudge the room, try to figure out which room is the Yuri's and smudge it, because then it will cause the Yuri to not wander for a long time, which you can't, for some reason I've noticed with the Yuri's, you can't get ghost orbs unless the Yuri is in the room. And as ghost orbs is one of the evidence for Yuri, you need to get in the room. So the final ghost type we have are Onis, or Anis, depending on how you decide to pronounce it. I've been yelled at for both. But Onis are a lot like the demons, and they have extreme strength. They're super active, which makes it seem like they're a poltergeist fairly often. So they will throw things around the room, they'll mess with lights. I've seen them turn on lights in prison all over the place, or like on the bigger maps all over the place, which really throws you off quite a bit when you're trying to find the room. And they're easier to find normally. So for them, it's EMF, Spirit Box, and Ghost Writing.
I totally forgot to mention, speaking of sanity drops, for Phantom, looking at a Phantom will drop your sanity significantly. Totally forgot to say that.
Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Continue without me.
Okay. But yeah, so this is Gather. Tools. Starting board. I don't know why they only put like 3 tools on. Oh, yeah, so like she said, the Ouija board only has 30% chance of spawning on a map. There's a couple different spots where it spawns. It's just one of the optional tools that you can get. They spawn in the map. There's also a bone. Looks like a little chicken bone. What you want to do is take a picture of the bone, and then you can collect it by pressing E on it. Also, you want to take a picture of the Ouija board, preferably like laying down flat, and it will count as one of your named pictures in here. You can get $5 for it, and once it's actually being used by the ghost, you can take another picture of it, and it'll count as interaction. So you can get 2 different money photos off of it. But yeah, the bone will count as money photo, and then you actually get $10 for actually collecting the bone. The bone is on every single map guaranteed. It's just really, really hard to find, and usually not worth it on the larger maps, but the houses and the farmhouses is like easy pickings. You can find it almost guaranteed unless it's glitched through like
Alright.
a run.
Hello.
I just got done explaining the bone and the Ouija board.
Oh yes, fun.
And then there are the voodoo dolls, which look like little burlap dolls with stitches over their mouth. Take a picture of them for interaction. There's usually 2 or 3 of them on the farmhouses. I've rarely seen them in the other um, houses or large maps, but I have actually seen them. But they're almost, at least I could have sworn I saw them. But they're always in the farmhouse. Especially Bleasdale, there's like a cabinet right in front of the door. Open it up, take a picture of it, instant like $5. Free money.
Yes.
So
Always is.
always got to get that free money. But yeah, so you can pick them up and throw them, and every now and then it will skitter across the floor and it will go towards where the ghost is. At least that's the rumor. It's not been confirmed. It's just that tends to be what it's doing. So it will
That
look
actually
like,
is what it does.
Wait, did they confirm that on the
Rumor, it normally does it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they confirmed it, but I know that's what everybody is believing, and it has proven to be true.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the house and you drop it, it will fly to the same spot every time.
Yeah, so half the time it'll just flop on the ground, but other times it'll skitter across the floor, and it's like really creepy because it makes like this really weird sound. But it'll go towards the ghost. Sometimes it even
So
like
along with things
fly
you
up
can
the
pick
wall.
up.
That means it's upstairs. Sorry.
Yes. So one of the along with voodoo dolls you can pick up. You can pick up basically, well, not everything, but a lot of things in the house. You can mess with cabinets, lockers. You can pick up hammers and saws and just different things like that. It's helpful for if you're like it's hammer time. Which nobody ever gets that joke, and it's so upsetting.
Wow.
But basically, yes. You don't even get the joke. You can't talk.
I
but
get the joke.
You never go with it. But basically, if you're a good thing is if you're dead. Well, I mean, I guess that's probably not a good thing. But if you die, then you can like pick up items. You can't pick up any of the gear, but you can pick up like the creepy little voodoo dolls and then stuffed animals and different things like that. So if like you see the EMF go off and we don't have that evidence, you can make like a giant arrow pointing towards the EMF, or you can just viciously drop a hammer on the EMF until somebody notices. Different things like that. It's also helpful at the very end if you don't have contact with the person, which you're not, supposed to. Then somebody can be over the radio and be like, "Hey, drop something whenever you're ready to go," and you can drop it and go to make sure everybody has things in their book.
I have a habit of dropping books, especially like in prison. Like if it's like a hallway ghost and you're trying to pinpoint where to put the crucifix, I will drop a book where the ghost spawn. So I will watch where the ghost spawns because it'll spawn in a large area, or a variety of areas, especially if it's like an A block or something, and it could spawn anywhere in that huge room. So I'll drop a book to where it can spawn, and you put more. If there's more books there, then probably put a crucifix there, and you get the objective. Higher chance to get the objective. I've also Sky said to put a shoe on the item in the truck, or where it would be on the truck if it's out, to determine like if you know of an evidence that your team doesn't seem to know what to do if you're dead. So I try to use shoes to write out fingerprints, but he didn't catch on that I was writing something with the shoes. Because he didn't see I took a picture of fingerprints.
You gotta have some pre-communication. And a good thing to do is personally what I do, every time I walk out of the house, I look in my journal and look at the photos to see if we got any like interaction or fingerprints, just in case. Because it tends to save us a lot of time. I know I'm normally the one that does that. And so then every once in a while somebody will randomly hear me say, "Oh, we got fingerprints," and everybody's like, "What? You're not even in the house."
Yeah, I do that too.
It doesn't matter.
Like, I'm trying to get a picture of interaction because it moved the door. I'm like, oh, that's an interaction picture. And then I look at it, it's fingerprints. I'm like, oh, well, that's free evidence right there. I didn't even have to bring in the UV light.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where we'll bring the UV light and can't find anything, but then manage to accidentally get a picture of the fingerprints.
Yeah, like I said, it's an early access game. It's still a little buggy. It's glow sticks. You used to be able to actually see fingerprints with them, but can't anymore. I don't know if it's intentional or not.
So I think we've gone over everything in the truck, pretty much. Yeah.
I think so. That was a whole hour's worth of content just in the truck. We haven't even left the truck yet.
Yes,
it's been an hour.
So when you first come into the wonderful truck and load in, of course you got your timer. Normally you can ignore that. unless you're actually playing on intermediate or amateur. Um, yeah. But then, so the first thing you want to do when you come in is, I mean, most of us just go and fight over the thermometers. To
Yeah,
be
there's only
fair,
3
because
and
there's
there's 4
only
people.
three. So we all go to the thermometers first. And then, of course, pick up strong flashlights and headsets and just like little things here and there. We also fight over the cameras. Always a fun time.
Yeah.
But then you want to come over and grab the key. Somebody's got to grab the key. It's normally not either of us, which causes problems, but you know it happens. So then you want to check the objectives. Personally, I normally ignore objectives 2 through 4 until we figure out what ghosts we're dealing with, or at least find the room. And so then it tells you I've done some investigating, which is, I mean, I hope you would. I don't really want to, go in there without knowing the ghost's name or if it's alone. It gives you the ghost name. In this case, it's Kenneth Anderson, and then if it likes to be alone or everyone. And so this one is an everyone, so we could technically go in there with a spirit box, and if it is spirit box, then once we find the room, we could be together and it could answer.
It's totally spooky if it's alone. Because it prefers the light off, too.
Yes. Give me just a second. You can go ahead. Oh, well, just go to the button. There's a button. Explain
Yeah.
the button.
So if you want to actually leave the truck, unfortunately, you have to press this button. Just click it left. I'll drop this down, and then I should actually get some. What? Oh. So my typical loadout is, or initially is a thermometer, a photo camera, um, that thing, and then obviously strong light. I think that's what also what she picks. Yeah, so then you walk to the front door. Anybody in your team can have the key in order for anybody to unlock it. So if I have the key, she can come in here and unlock it, which is weird. Okay. But yeah, so in order to actually open a door, you can just pull it. So you left click it and then pull it. I won't do it till she gets, because the ghost doesn't start actually doing stuff until you actually open the front door. So if we were out here for an hour and it was amateur, it would still say 5 minutes until we open that door. So the real fun doesn't start until you open the door. And it'll have this little lock. Oh, we never actually went over the hunt. Because it will have this little lock on it during the hunt. Oh, I already opened it. So it will do that during the hunt, because it will lock all the exits and you cannot get in or out. And like I said, the flashlight will blink like this, and it will chase around and hunt you, so you can either run from it or hide. Okay, well I guess I can go over the hunt. So once the ghost gets pissed enough, see I already unlocked the door and it's already starting to do stuff. Once your sanity gets low enough, or certain ghosts, it doesn't care, has a higher chance of hunting. Typically, they don't hunt until you're below 60. With exceptions, of course, like as I mentioned. There's technically a chance that any ghost can hunt at any sanity level, but it's a very, very, very rare. Like, I've seen people get hunted literally 20 seconds after walking into the house. Kind of crazy. That usually doesn't happen, and if it does, it's usually a banshee. Or they like to hunt more frequently and earlier. So with the hunt, that it'll lock all the doors, lights will flash, all the lights in the house will flash. That, and then what you either once you try to outrun it, unless it's a revenant, or you hide. It can walk through the doors to look. If they can't find you, it'll just start wandering around the hallways and walking into rooms looking for you. So it's good to hide in a secondary room or a closet. So if you're in a in like on Tanglewood, there would be a bedroom right here, like the boys' bedroom. I used to hide in there next to the desk, outside of line of sight of the door. But since it's such a small house, it will check every single bedroom anyway, and it'll walk in and see and kill you. I've never not died hiding there. um, but there's a closet you can hide in and you're fine. But even then, you can still, no matter how good you hide, even like her 9-3 doors, it can still kill you. Um, so even if you're a banshee, um, and it will hunt only the one person, like the one person has to hide incredibly, but you can just walk around, do whatever you want. I've even seen like a YouTuber almost kill another YouTuber by opening up the locker it was hiding in when the banshee was coming as a joke. But yeah, so you will want to do that, do the hiding, especially if it's a revenant, because you cannot outrun it. But normally, during a hunt, you can just walk around, like counter or something like that. You just leave it around, but sometimes it'll switch directions, so you have to pay attention. It's harder to see with a phantom because they don't show up much, but it'll try to juke you by running around. Yeah, so you will hear it stomping around. It will blink in and out of existence, so it'll actually appear more often. And it will come and try to kill you. So you hear it stomping, you hear it knocking on the doors and windows, looking for you. It can actually hear you talking on your mic, even if you're not pressing down voice chat. So you tend to want to be careful if you're hiding out in the open, like on a couch. You might want to turn off your flashlight, or else it will see you. Um, but if you're hiding in a closet, like I don't turn off my flashlight. Whatever. That's how
Sorry,
you could
I gotta
tell.
get tacos.